One of my favorites. I wore this palette constant. I wore this palette constant. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, you get it. I like the palette. Hello guys and dolls, and welcome back. It's me, Cora. Today I'm going to be bringing you my favorites for the month of August, and I am so excited. I haven't done a favorites video in a really long time, and it just sort of felt like a good time to sort of jump right back into it this month. And I've got some really good stuff. Like, this is definitely like a mega favorites. I think partially because I didn't do one for a few months, and just, you know, there's months where you're like, yeah, you know, this is my favorite of the month, but like maybe not like an all-time favorite, whereas there's some stuff in here where I just like love it so super hard, and I'm just really excited to share with you guys. So we're gonna start out with everyone's favorite segment, the mascara of the month. So our mascara of the month for August is the Fiber Wig. The full name is Paint on False Lashes. So this is a mascara that used to be available at Sephora, which is how I first encountered it and fell in love with it and was like, oh my god, it's so good. And then for some reason Sephora stopped selling it. So I actually think I got this on the Fiberwig website, or maybe I purchased it on Amazon, I'm not entirely sure. But this is one of the better tubing mascaras I've used. It's a true tubing mascara where it comes off in little tubes, it doesn't budge, it doesn't flake, it doesn't come off with water. It's a really great mascara if smudging is your issue. This is also a really great mascara for length. This has little fibers in it within the formula that actually attach to your lashes and make them a little longer. If you're the kind of person who has like pretty voluminous lashes and what you really need help with is a little bit of length, this is your go-to mascara. But if you're like me and a lot of people, and volume is your issue, and you want, you know, more individualization to each lash, and you want like a little bit more meat on each lash, if you know what I mean, this is not a great mascara for volume, at least not for the first 2 months that you use it. It's very thin, it gives you lots of length, as I said, not so much in the volume department. After it's been open for a little while though, it dries out a bit, and then it's really amazing. So to be honest with you, I sometimes, because I've used this mascara many times before, I will occasionally keep this longer than you're supposed to. Like, technically I should throw this out according to like the rules of mascara that you're only supposed to use it for 3 months. I'm gonna fudge this and use it probably for the rest of September and potentially even into October, as long as it lasts, because A, it's really expensive, and B, it really does work best once it's a little bit dried out, and I didn't use it that much in June and July, so I can kind of fudge it a little bit. So anyway, that is our mascara of the month. So the next thing I want to share with you guys is my mega love of fragrance. Holy crap, I love perfume. I have such a soft spot for perfume. It's such a wonderful way to, you know, recall memories, because scent is the strongest sense tied to memory, and it's also just, you know, a way to evoke a feeling very quickly. You know, you could put on your bad girl perfume, or you could put on your flirty perfume, or you could put on your like for me personally, like when I need to work, it's so weird, but I always put on Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. I don't know what it is, but it like makes me focus, you know, like there's just certain perfumes that like evoke a certain feeling. And because I love so many different fragrances, I like to buy the smaller like roller ball sizes of perfumes. But here's my issue, is that most of them are roller balls and not like the spray. Like the Dolce & Gabbana one is a spray, so that's cool, thanks for doing that, love you guys. But most of them come in a roller ball, and the fragrances smell differently when they're put on, just applied to the skin, versus when they're sprayed, because when they're sprayed, they're spread out over a larger portion of the skin. Just, it smells so much different. You can really tell, if you're like a fragrance nerd, you can really tell the difference between something that's been put on with a roller ball versus something that has been put on with a sprayer. Enter my new obsession, Scentbird, a perfume subscription service. Yeah, I kind of wish I thought of this myself as a business, because it's so freaking genius. So in the past, I have bought like samples of perfumes through like a third-party thing, so this isn't something I'm new to, but this is a little bit more unique because it's less expensive. So the ones that I've done before have been like $30 for a very small vial of perfume, whereas this one is $14.95 a month, and this is a pretty large vial. To show you guys like a size comparison, so this is the Scentbird fragrance, which it doesn't just come like this, it also has like a little doohickey that holds it. Like the first month that you have your subscription, they'll send you this, and then on subsequent months you'll just get the vial and you can switch it out, and it's quite nice because it does twist down. You can push the thing so it won't get sprayed, like if you were to throw it in your purse or something, but it's easy to take it in and out. So as I was saying, the size comparison, so this is the Scentbird vial. This is like a vial that you get if you were to get like a rollerball perfume, and then this is like a little tiny like sample spray. So apparently trying to hold all these things is kind of confusing. So you can see it's actually quite a lot of fragrance that you're getting from Scentbird. The other thing that's great too is that you're able to get smaller sizes of perfumes that maybe only come in a large bottle. So for instance, this is Dolce & Gabbana Lamb Patrice. I love this fragrance in the summertime, but I don't really wear it in the fall or the winter, so it doesn't really make sense for me to buy the big, you know, huge bottle of it that costs like $60 or $70 when I'm not going to get my $60 or $70 out of it, because fragrance does go bad. Like 15 bucks basically, I can get this. I used it quite a bit this last month. I still didn't even use it all the way up. I still have plenty of fragrance in there, and you know, next month I'm going to get another fragrance. You know, it's a really cool subscription service. I definitely think it's one of the better ones that's come out. It's one that I totally can get behind. I actually wish I thought of it myself as a business, because it's such a genius idea, and I'm like, it's one of those things like when you hear of it, you're like, why did I think of that? The other thing I want to mention is they have a lot of like niche perfumes on there. They have some like, they have Hermes fragrances. They have some like very high-end stuff. So it's a really, really cool thing. I will go ahead and have a link to their website and a coupon code for you guys in the description bar down below if you want to go ahead and check that out. Holy crap, do I have a ton of favorite lip products. Some of these you guys have heard of before, so it's not going to be a super big surprise, like Boldly Bare Lip Liner and Chelsea Girl let me start that over. Boldly Bare Lip Liner from MAC and Chelsea Girl's Lip Gloss from NARS. These were kind of like my favorite, they weren't even kind of like, these were my favorite nude lippy combinations of the month. This is definitely one of my favorite glosses ever. It's so beautiful. It looks fantastic. It just works really well with my complexion, and I love the name. I just think it's great. And Boldly Bare has been a favorite of mine for a while, but it finally has its perfect little best friend lip gloss to go with it. These two work so well together. I adore them. I believe Chelsea Girl's is limited edition, so definitely be sure to pick this one up while they still have it available. It is such a gorgeous color. In fact, don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure if it's limited edition, but it was like in a special section of the NARS display, so I'm assuming maybe it's limited edition. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, my next favorite lip products are definitely the OCC Ready to Wear lip tars. I mean, damn. As no surprise to anyone, I adore these. I made a huge swatch video swatching all 25 of the new Ready to Wear colors, which really just killed my lips, to be honest with you, but it's so worth it because they are so beautiful, and I loved showing you guys how easy it is to apply them with the new little doe foot applicator. Of course, my favorite color of all time is Techno Pagan. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, and the metallic formula mixed with the lip tar, it just wears perfectly. It looks so beautiful on the lips. Oh, I just love it. So these are definitely my favorites. I also am showing you guys Memento, which is a really beautiful, like peachy, warm, natural pink. It's such a gorgeous color. This is something that Tarte came out with, I think, last holiday season, so this is technically discontinued, but I'm hoping they'll bring it back. This is one of their Lip Surgeons lip creams. This is in the shade Vintage. So first of all, the name I adore. Second of all, this is one of my favorite lip colors ever. It's so good. It's so flawless. It's so natural. It feels great on the lips. It has a slightly peppermint smell, but it's a little bit more like organic-y smelling. Like, it doesn't smell like too, like the OCC lip tars, the peppermint smell is kind of small, like strong with them. I feel like with the ready to wear ones, it's a little bit less strong than it has been with previous editions. But my point being that the Tarte ones has like a slight peppermint smell, but it's like not too intense. So I'm actually going to start a campaign. We're going to do hashtag bring vintage back, or Tarte vintage. I haven't decided yet, but I'll put it in the screen here somewhere. Hashtag, we'll say hashtag Tarte vintage. It's my favorite freaking lip product from Tarte by a long shot, and I really love the Tarte Lip Surgeons and the Tarte, like the matte lip stains. I freaking love them, but this is literally my favorite. The color is so perfect. It's that warm, like sort of medium pink. Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. And I wore it just non-stop. Like, if I was either wearing this or this for the most of August, because the OCC Ready to Wear lip tars didn't come until like the end of August, so I can't really claim that I was wearing those all month, but I really wore the crap out of this, especially when we were in New York. It was kind of like my go-to one product, throw it in the bag, and I was good to go. But as I said, this is discontinued. This was part of, or it's not discontinued, but it was like a limited edition as part of a holiday set. So I am going to start a campaign starting now on social media, hashtag Tarte vintage. Let's bring it back. Let's see if they'll actually bring back this lip product. That would be amazing if we could do that. It's not even just for me, because I mean, I still have, you know, plenty of product here to use. I'm not going to run out anytime soon, but I want you guys to be able to get this if you're interested in it, because it's such a beautiful color and the texture is so great and it feels so good on the lips, and I would just like everyone to enjoy it. I want to share the love. So Tarte, or hashtag Tarte Vintage. We'll try to bring it back. Speaking of Tarte, I have one other Tarte favorite. So they recently redid their Amazonian clay blushes, which is a whole other subject, and I kind of feel like I should make a video about it because some of the colors got changed. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it yet, but like a couple of my favorites have been changed and I was like, that's kind of weird. But anyway, there is a color that I absolutely love and it's called Captivating, and I'm wearing it today. It is a creamy yet sort of intense warm peach. It is beautiful. It is literally one of my all-time favorite blushes. I love the Amazonian clay formula. I love these blushes. They're just some of my all-time favorites. One thing I really like about them, they have a little pin hole in the back so you can actually push them through and easily put them in a palette, which is such a genius packaging concept because so many brands, it's either, you know, oh, or you could just drop it and it pops out. See, it's got a magnet on the bottom. It makes it so easy to have the best of both worlds. You have the compact with the mirror in it even, and the little plastic thing that comes with it when you first purchase it. And you also have the little drop-in option to have it in a palette or have it in the compact. Genius packaging move on their part, but really what I'm talking about is just the color. This color, and also this works really well with vintage. Well, I'm wearing them together today, so there you go. It's just a beautiful blush, and I wore it constantly this month. I took it with me to New York. It's just a beautiful, beautiful color. Speaking of New York, my next favorite is something that I picked up when I was in New York, and that is the Marc Jacobs in the Buff eyeliner. This is such a absolutely beautiful champagne color. I'll give you guys, I think I showed you guys a swatcherino in my original haul video, but I'll give you guys another little shot of that. It has multi-dimensional shimmer in it, which unfortunately doesn't really pick up on camera. Oh, it's so freaking beautiful. I love it so much, and I've worn it pretty much every day since I bought it. The next favorites of the month are two eyeshadow palettes. Well, really it's one palette and then one eyeshadow in one of the palettes. So the first favorite of the month is the Too Faced Stardust palette by Vegas Nay. You guys know I love this. I did a really great tutorial. If you guys want to go ahead and click that in the description bar down below. I love that look. It kind of got my mojo back. That I definitely credit this palette for kind of giving me that back. Some people feel like this is somewhat similar to the Chocolate Bar palette, and I can see like the original Chocolate Bar palette, not the semi-sweet. We're not doing that. But the original Chocolate Bar palette, and there are colors that are definitely similar. Some of these warmer colors and this one here and some of the golds, but there are colors here that are not at all in the Chocolate Bar palette. The purple here, Sin City, Pink Pearl, the strip, you know, there's some really, really great colors that are completely new and different to this palette. Also, when you buy this palette, you get a glitter, you get a mascara, and you also get a, well, they're minis, but they're in the, I'm losing my train of thought, the eyeshadow insurance stuff. You also get that. So you're not just buying the palette, you're getting like a few extra little goodies with it. With all of this said, this palette is fantastic. It's definitely one I've been going to. I'm wearing some of the colors of my crease today. I adore this so very, very much. So I'm very happy to have this. Yay, yay, yay. And it's definitely one of my favorites. I wore this palette I wore this palette constant. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, you get it. I like the palette. So the next thing that is my favorite is not the entire Naked Smoky palette. While I do like this, and I don't think it's a bad palette, not by a long shot, I actually really like it, but like a hardcore favorite is Urban Decay Combust. This is one of the best transitional eyeshadows I have ever used. Seriously. What I love about it is that it's got a kind of like a pinky brown tone to it, but it's not too cool and it's not too warm. It's just right. It's like the Goldilocks of eyeshadow. It's so wonderful, and I've heard multiple people say that they really like this and would like it to be permanent. So Urban Decay, please make Combust permanent. I'm officially putting my vote in for that one. So now I want to talk to you guys about some skincare, and we're going to start out with something I really, really did not like, and I just feel the need to kind of bitch about it for a minute. So let's just have a moment. I picked this cleanser because I was looking for something from the drugstore, because I always use the Purity cleanser, which is a really great cleanser, but I go through it so quickly and it's kind of on the pricier side, and I thought there's just got to be something at the drugstore that would work just as good. So I've had a lot of luck with the Yes To line in the past, so I thought I would go ahead and pick up the Yes To Clear Skin. I also purchased this in a moment where like my skin was like breaking out quite a bit, and this is the Yes To Tomatoes and Watermelon. It's supposed to keep your skin clear. Now this actually is a good cleanser, and I know I said I hated it. We'll get to that in just a second. It's a wonderful cleanser. It doesn't foam up too much, and really foamy, super foamy cleansers tend to over clean the skin. They tend to sort of strip out any and all moisture from the skin, which is not really the greatest thing for anyone. Even if you have oily skin, you still don't want to strip your skin. This doesn't do that, to be clear. That's one of the things I like about it, is that it isn't foamy, and that my skin felt really wonderful when I'd use it, to be honest. With that being said, this smells so terrible. I cannot impress that upon you enough, how badly this smells. And I'm gonna do one last final sniff of this so I can describe it. Oh God, it's so gross. It smells nothing like tomatoes or watermelon. It smells a little bit powdery, but not in a pleasant way at all. It just smells horrid. I can't even describe it. It's just bad. It's just really extremely, extremely bad. It's not okay. I don't recommend this. It is cruelty-free, which is great, and I really wanted to like it because it was cruelty-free. It was inexpensive. It was a little bit more expensive for the drugstore, but it's certainly cheaper than what I was using before. But this is just something I cannot recommend based on the fragrance. It is so horrible. I couldn't continue to use it, and I really tried to just say it's only a couple of minutes each day when I'm washing my face, and then you rinse it off, and after you rinse it off you don't smell it, but I just couldn't hang with it. I was like finding myself dreading washing my face. So I digress. I actually picked up something that I like a lot, and that is the CeraVe Foaming Facial Cleanser for normal to oily skin. Now, I also want to clarify that I bought this like months ago. This is meant to be included with like my June favorites, but that did not happen. So I've actually been using this since July, the CeraVe why can't I say foaming today? Foaming Facial Cleanser for normal to oily skin. So again, similar concept. They are for, you know, oily or potentially acneic skin. Overall, my skin has looked great. My pores have been doing well. I've had less acne. I really, really like this cleanser. It feels great. It doesn't have any smell at all, so it's totally cool and free and clear in that situation. I also want to mention that there's like little brown and pink spots on it. It's from my hair when I'm in the shower, like little droplets of like pink and brown go places, and then stain up labels of my beauty products. So yeah, that's just so you know what that is. My next favorite of the month is a book, and this is The Fashion File by Janie Bryant. I talked about this in my New York haul. I haven't finished it yet, but it is so fantastic. I wanted to get one more shout out. This is so fantastic, and I'm still so sad that Mad Men ended. There are other things in here, like there's like the 1920s, just really, really cool ways to incorporate vintage style with your everyday clothing, which I think is so freaking cool. You guys know I love vintage style, and I've been kind of falling more in love with it lately, so it's just kind of extra, extra special to me at this moment. I've really been into a lot of older music lately, nostalgic reasons, but two of my absolute favorites have been the Cars. I've always loved the Cars. I don't know how I never really saw this connection before, but they remind me so much of the Killers. Like pretty much Brandon Flowers is trying to sound like the lead singer of the Cars. I mean, that's just what it is. I love it, love it, love it. I can't believe I never made that connection between them and the Killers before. But then my other favorite of the month has been Fleetwood Mac. I adore them. My mom loved them, and so it's been kind of like a cool thing to listen to their music. But also I discovered that my husband really likes them, and I was like, how have I not known this, and we've been together for 13 years. So listening a lot to Fleetwood Mac, kind of had Rhiannon like on rotation, like constantly. That and Gold Dust Woman. By the way, I also recently watched American Horror Story Coven, which I had never watched before, just now when I watched it. And what the heck, I loved that. Oh my god, it's the best. I have another TV favorite that we'll share in just a minute, but they had a lot of Stevie Nicks music in it, and Stevie Nicks was in it, which was like amazing. The movie of the month is a documentary that I found on Netflix that I actually watched on the plane home from New York, and it's called Advanced Style. And it's about this blogger who he goes on the streets, you know, who's out prowling on the streets. It sounds really creepy. For older ladies who have fantastic style, and I am so obsessed with this. It shows the you know, a group of people who are mostly marginalized. Like nobody usually pays any attention to women over 50, certainly not women in their 90s, and thinks of them as beauty icons and fashion icons. And this, first of all, his blog showcases these women, but this documentary kind of dives a little deeper into them and it was the first I'd ever heard of his blog, so of course now I'm obsessed with the blog. But it's just so great to see these older women with such an interesting point of view who have led interesting lives and how they express themselves with fashion. It was so inspiring for me. I'm obsessed. I totally highly recommend that you check it out. It's on Netflix, so if you have Netflix streaming, definitely get on it and watch it because it is fantastic. And then my final favorite of the month is a TV show. It was on Amazon Prime. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can watch it for free. It's called Catastrophe. I don't think I'm giving too much of the setup away because I think this is in the trailer for it, but it's about an American guy and an Irish woman who's living in London, and he's in town for business, and they like hook up a whole bunch during like 1 week. And then he goes home and lives his life. She's living her life, and then she calls him up and she's like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. And they try to make it work. And it's so funny. It's a perfect blend of like American humor and the sort of dry British humor. It's very funny. The acting is amazing. I love just the whole cast is so funny, so brilliant, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's only like 6 22-minute long episodes, so you can watch it in like a couple of hours. And I also want to say that it holds up to rewatching because I've rewatched it now twice. I think I'm going to rewatch it again because it's so funny and I just can't wait for it to come back. So I had so many things I needed to share that I'm so passionate about, and and my husband's home now, so perfect timing. I will see you guys in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be your own kind of beautiful.